Kyle, the challenge like today, if a person really wanted to run for office and they got up and they said, well, listen, here's what we're going to be doing. Folks, everybody's got to get back to work. You got to do your part. You got to improve some skills. You got to learn 2 or 3 skills next 12 months, hopefully 5 new skills the next 2 years. And we think you can increase your market value. But we are so much in debt, we can't give any more entitlement programs. We're not going to be doing any more Build Back Better, nothing for 8 years. We're not spending any more money than we are right now. We're in the business of cutting down expenses today. Just like a company, we're supposed to cut down expenses right now. We have way too much debt. Do you know if somebody ran on that? Do you know what's the chances of that person winning?
No chance.
Probably zero.
Zero. Because what's popular today is what Andrew Yang says, what Bernie Sanders says, what Biden says, what Elizabeth Warren says. What anybody says that we're going to give it to you if you vote me in for free. We are more and more and more gradually becoming an entitled nation. And that's a scary thought because eventually something has to happen with all this money. We can't constantly be giving money away to people. It is very attractive. This is why kids love their grandparents, because grandparents secretly give chocolate away to kids and parents don't. If I see my daughter...
What goodies are people getting? Like, I don't see... The working class is struggling. I just told you 63% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. People are doing... They're not in a good place right now.
Then that tells you we were doing a shitty job spending people's money. Goes back to my point that the money being given to the government, they don't know what to do with the money. Because we're definitely not slowing down giving money to the government. There's another $1.7 trillion last week. We're not like saying no to it. Here's more of our money. Let's see what you're going to do with it. They don't do good with it again. Let's give you a little bit more money. Again, they don't do good with it. If as an investor, you deal with your financial advisor, you're going to have a financial advisor. You probably have a financial advisor. And you're going to fire some financial advisors, okay? And some of them, you think a lot about what they do with your money. If you don't think about what your financial advisor is doing with your money, guess what? It's because he's probably doing a good job, right? You're like, okay, listen, I get the right returns. He protects me, calls me saying, hey, here's what happened. I suggest moving this money from here to bonds because we think the next 6 months is going to go this. Hey, I think we're ready to go into equities. Are you comfortable if we go into equities? Great. And then there are some that never call you. There are people in your life you trust, a waiter you trust. Hey, I like my iced tea 90-10. I got you, Pat. He brings it. How is it? Good. Never ask him again because the guy knows how to make your iced tea, or Arnold Palmer. Hey, here's how I like my steak, medium. You ever had ordered a medium and they bring you well done? How annoyed you are when you cut the meat and you're like, dude, I said medium. This is well done, right? You don't trust that restaurant. Okay. The government has a very low trust in the marketplace with what they do with the money. And this doesn't go on Bernie Sanders because a Bernie Sanders getting elected isn't all of a sudden going to clean house with all the employees and bring in the people that we're going to trust that's going to do the job, because Bernie's not going to be doing the job. Trump's not going to. It's going to be the people on the inside that are going to be doing the job. So that's the challenge when it goes back to what we do with the money. They have a very low credibility score of what they do. If you
on
look
this,
at this
we
year,
agree, though.
Public trust in the government from 1915 to today.
So let me address this.
Yeah.
Because on this, we 100% agree. As somebody who believes in social democracy, I mean, I think somebody would have to be high to think that I support this current government. I mean, the problem is from the 1970s until today, there's been a number of Supreme Court cases which have effectively legalized bribery, legalized corruption. There was the Buckley versus Vallejo case, the McCutcheon case, the Citizens United case, and this is just fancy legal speak of saying they decided it is the same as free speech rights for a billionaire or a corporation to donate to politicians. So when you bring up your concern of like, look, what the fuck's going on with all this money? Like, the government keeps doing stuff and people don't see improvements in their everyday life. I think that's 1,000,000% correct. And the reason is you have the military-industrial complex, big pharma, the for-profit health insurance companies, Wall Street, individual billionaires. They pay the politicians, then the politicians turn around and pass legislation that helps out those special interests, those lobbyists. It doesn't help out the working people. So...
Of course.
We're 100% in agreement on that. And I think the solution on that front, if you want good governance, if you want a government that actually represents the people more, where you can see it's all accountable and you see where the money is going and it's all going to positive places, there's something called clean elections, which effectively is taking the private financing out of the election system. So no more corporate donations, no more billionaire donations. The way it works is there's a process to determine who gets on the ballot. And then once you're on the ballot, it's funded by the taxpayers. And then you have a genuine, real, true battle of ideas and policies and disagreements. And it's no longer a battle of competing factions where, for example, it's like, well, the Democrats are bought by this lawyer group or these unions, and the Republicans are bought by this hedge fund, and so whoever ends up winning the election, guess who's going to get served? Either the hedge fund or the
of course,
right? Yes,
yeah, but we're on the same place. This is
right.
why this is why I'm for Trump and Bernie, because neither one of them are bought. Okay, and whatever they're going to say is whatever they're going to say, and they got the voters to come in. We had Paul Manafort here. I don't know what it was, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and I said, I don't like lobbyists because you guys are messing everything up.
Right, yeah.
And you know how much money these guys make?
It's ungodly.
Some of these guys are making $10-20 million a year doing what they're doing. But here's what one thing that's, I think we're going to agree on this one here. So Elon buys Twitter, okay, which we haven't even gotten to the Twitter conversation to see what your thoughts are on that. But Elon buys Twitter. They got 7,500 employees. Immediately, he cuts 50%. So go to 3,750. They cut 3,750. The 3,750 that were cut recruit the other 1,200 to quit. So 3,750 gets another 1,200. So he's now lost 5,000. Okay, Twitter goes from 7,500 employees to 2,500 employees, and Twitter's done more advancement in the last 2 months of additional things on Twitter that you've seen the last 2-3 years. Now, whether you like the features or not, it's irrelevant. It's things are being updated, right? It's like quickly things are being updated. Twitter went from being a slow, large, a social government, social media company to now it's going back to the startup things moving very, very quickly, right? The amount of organizations we have in the government that have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 employees that can be run on a tenth of that you're seeing. And by the way, Facebook, other companies are seeing what Twitter is doing. They're like, dude, maybe we don't need 100,000 employees. Maybe we don't need 50,000. Maybe we don't need. And by the way, these salaries are not like it's $20,000 a year salary, $70,000 a year salaries. These are guys making 180, 150, 200, $250,000 a year salary. So we're also learning that wasted money in free enterprise, people are starting to realize we can do more work with fewer people. That's not good for people that want to raise minimum wage. But also in the government, every time, like, we need 80. How many thousand IRS agents did they just hire?
87,000 new IRS.
And they're saying with the 87,000
with guns, by the way, with guns,
87,000 IRS agents, we're gonna. Did you see what number they give? We're gonna be able to collect another $1 trillion of tax money.
To be fair, they say that's for people who make $400,000 and over.
They're saying that. They're saying that. But good luck going and spending some money and getting a $700 bill on something you did on PayPal or any of that stuff. You're still getting that $700 tax bill. They're still going and collecting that money from the people. 87,000 IRS agents for what? How does that sell me to dream? How does that sell me to dream? What are you saying to people? We're going to collect money. You really need 87,000 of them?
Well, see, the problem is under the previous administrations, I think going all the way back to Bill Clinton, but it may have been from Obama and onward, there's been effectively like a war on the IRS where they've fired a tremendous number of them. So getting back these 87,000 is not even getting back to, what it was however many years ago.
So you think we need more IRS agents is what you're saying?
To go after the wealthy? Yeah, because right now I agree with your point about the IRS kind of harassing working people and going after people who make $40,000 a year or whatever it is. No, I don't want to go after those people. And like I told you, I think those people should get a tax cut, if anything else. I think they should have more money. Yes, I definitely think we should rein in the oligarchs for sure, and you need the IRS in order to do that.
How big are how many oligarchs do we have?
Well, I would define the oligarchs as what we just described before, which is the billionaires and corporations who pay the government their campaign contributions.
You need 87,000 to go after 500 people?
Well, no, I mean, not just the oligarchs. I'm talking about
but that's what you
the
said,
top 1%.
But
yes.
But if you
I think you should go after basically the top 1%, including the oligarchs. So
are you part of top 1% right now?
I'm probably part of the top 5%.
Okay, but you're going to be in the top 1% very soon.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
There's no question about it.
You keep working, buddy. You'll be there.
There's no question. Capitalism's given you a very good life. I think if you keep continuing, you'll be in the top 0.1%. So
we believe in you, Kyle, is what we're trying to say.
I'm saying the government should tax the shit out of me. That's what I think.
Really? What's a fair tax rate?
How much should they tax?
What's a fair rate?
I make six figures at the moment. I wouldn't put myself in the top bracket, but yeah, I mean...
So what's your tax rate? Like, be real. What's your tax rate right now? You're in New York?
Probably.
You're in New York?
I mean, New York has kind of high state taxes.
Okay.
And
so let's say you make $200,000 a year.
Okay.
So you're paying $100,000 in taxes.
Probably closer to like 85, 90, something like that.
So what are you more
cool
comfortable
with that?
paying?
I think that's a fair rate.
So what happens if they took 10% more?
I would probably switch it up in terms of what percentage goes to the federal government versus what percentage goes to the state government. I'm kind of a believer in a more centralized system. I don't like the how you have so many layers of government where each one can tax you and they do different things. I'm a big fan of centralization in the sense that, it should be the same rules in Kentucky as it is in New York in a sense. But yeah, in terms of the amount of money that I'm taxed, sure.
Yeah.
If you tell me that money is going towards healthcare, education,
not gonna happen,
pre-K. But I'm saying,
but you know what you're saying?
Entertain my
You know what you're
hypothetical.
saying, though? You know what you're
Entertain my
saying?
hypothetical.
You know what you're saying? You're saying you don't trust the people that are getting your money today. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but nobody does. And that's correct. Left, right, we all
then
agree on that.
But if we don't, why give them more?
Because we're trying to make it so that money goes towards good things, to reallocate it. And that's what I'm fighting for on a daily basis.
But it's not the point, though. But you don't.
I would be a hypocrite if I said, you know what, I'm in favor of raising taxes on all these people, but you know what, cut my taxes, even though I make six figures.
But that's not the point. But what we have things that we agree with. We don't agree who's getting the money because they don't have a track record of doing the right thing with the money they're already getting from us.
We totally agree on that.
Okay, so do you know, like, to fix that, what we have to do? If
a lot of work.
If U.S. was a corporation, you have to fire 50% of the existing people and then bring newer people in who have ethics to clean it up, that actually have to do the work, because the existing people are not. They're in a swamp type of an environment that they've been getting away for a while, and no president's going to be able to fix that. If there was anything that we did, like if the last person that said, give us this money and we'll give the money back, was a guy named Abraham Lincoln. I think it's 1872 or whatever the year was. He says, hey, we're going to tax you guys 10% for the next however many years. And then once we pay off the money we got from the war, the debt, then we're going to stop taxing you. Guess what happened after Abraham Lincoln when he did that? They collected the debt, they stopped taxing, okay? That's how tax was. We'll collect the money, we'll pay off the debt, and we'll not tax you again. Until 1913, hey, let's start taxing everybody. I mean, this is a cool way to collect.
That's before FDR. That wasn't FDR.
No, when Lincoln did it, it was 1872. Of course, it's before FDR.
Right,
but
yeah,
when,
1913, I'm saying before FDR.
Yeah, but when taxes came in, it's like, hey, let's keep taxing. FDR brought minimum wage, 25 cents an hour, and then boom, he did what he did. But the point is, that's what taxes was. We know where it went to. Today, nobody, you're talking about Pentagon this the fifth time? Yeah, nobody trusted where the money is going to.
Right.
So if you and I don't trust an institution that has shown zero credibility on what to do with the money we're already being given them for decades, you want us to give them more money?
Well, we're saying the same thing. I'm saying in an ideal system, I should be taxed if you make six figures, or if you're a millionaire, or if you're a billionaire. Yeah, I think their taxes should be steep, and I think they'll still be just fine. But I think that money should go towards the thing we've discussed over and over in this podcast:
but they're
education,
not doing
healthcare.
It, though. But they're not.
No, I understand that. But this is what I'm saying: we need to do both things. We need to try to fight for that world, and also, I'm not going to sit here and say my tax rate should be 0, or my tax rate should be 10% or some shit, because then I would be a massive hypocrite, and everybody would be right to dunk on me.
Which is first, though? I don't think so. I think. You're 34 years old.
I think you try to do them simultaneously.
You're January 31st.
I think you're trying to do them. Yes, okay. I think you try to do them simultaneously.
I don't think you can do that, though. I think in life, you're going to go through a lot of philosophical changes. You're going to be like, okay, shit, things change. What's this all about? Well, that's not cool. What is this? If you're the same at 44 as you are at 34, there's problems, right? And it's not going to happen to it. If I'm the same at 54 as I am today, I wasted 10 years of my life. I'm going to have some changes that happen in my life. For me, first starts off with accountability. Then when you earn trust with me, then I'll give you more taxes. Not the other way around. First, you have to prove to me that you're now doing the right thing with the money. Then you come out and say, cool, you want to go to this? Listen, man, you've proven you do the right thing. Here's another 5%. Because the last 10 years, you proved me wrong. I didn't trust you. But the last 10 years, look how responsible you've been with the money that you've had, and we lowered it for you. Now you want to bump it a little bit more? Let's talk about it.
I understand that. I agree with all of it, but nobody should be worried about me, is my point. I'm not the person who's hurting. The person who's hurting is the person who makes $20K a year when they work full-time, $30K a year when they work full-time. So that's my main point.
But that's
nobody shed a fucking tear for the YouTuber who does phenomenally well for running his mouth for a living.
No, but I also think you're living in a state that has shown they have zero responsibility with what they do with the money. You're not living in a state that's doing a good job with the money. I lived in California for a long time, 20-some years. I lived in Texas 5 years, and I came to Florida 2 years ago. I've been here for 2 years. It's not even 2 years yet, right?
It'll be 2 years,
at the end of January.
this week.
Your birthday is going to be 2 years, okay? It's
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But the point is, we came here. We were building our media company. I just sold my insurance company 6 months ago. So I'm sitting there saying, where do I move the media company to? I didn't want to leave it in Dallas. We looked at Greenwich. Okay, we're going to go to
Connecticut?
New York. We're going to go to New York. And then we looked at Newport Beach, because I'm from LA and I like Newport Beach. And then we looked at Texas, Nashville, and then last minute, Florida. Hey, we were looking at Tampa, and we looked at South Florida. I didn't go to New York because it was a shit show with the way they handled COVID, taxes. No matter how much taxes you give them, they keep raising it. California, top of the chain with taxes. First time since 1851, California's lost net with the amount of people they have there. People are leaving that place. They don't trust California. Tennessee, I lived in Tennessee for 2 years. I don't want to go to, when I was in the Army, I lived in Tennessee for a couple of years. I love Tennessee, but I kind of wanted to have a little bit of the lifestyle with the money, and then I saw DeSantis handle things in the state of Florida. I said,
Yeah.
you know what, this is a place to move down to, because his policies earned the trust of me moving my family.
So with all the craziness taking place, I believe future looks bright. If you believe future looks bright, get your latest Future Looks Bright hat of Valuetainment. It says Future Looks Bright here, Future Looks Bright here. We got them in white, we got them in black, we got them in red. Our black on black sold out. These are about to sell out. If you haven't ordered one yet, we had a person in Michigan, bought one, then he bought 3. Then when those 3 people weren't in the office, they had to order 58 of them, because people wanted the Future Looks Bright hat, especially during times like this, because ain't nobody saying Future Looks Bright. To order your Future Looks Bright hat, click over here, and to watch the entire podcast, click here. Take care, everybody.